Welcome to the Idea Climbing Podcast. Contrary to popular belief, you don't have to break the bank to get great PR. I discuss how to do that in this episode with my guest, Jill Lublin. Jill is a 25 plus year media magnate. She is a world renowned publicity expert, international speaker, and 4 times best selling author. Jill has made thousands of stage appearances alongside celebrities such as Tony Robbins, Barbara Corcoran, and Jack Canfield, just to name a few. We dive into topics such as why all entrepreneurs need publicity, how to approach media outlets to get publicity, when to think about hiring a publicist, and other golden nuggets of advice. You're going to love this show. Jill, thank you for being here for the Idea Climbing Podcast. I really appreciate you making the time.
Mark, it's a delight to be here with you and your viewers.
And we're going to talk about why you don't have to spend a fortune to get publicity, why everyone needs it. Before we get into the strategies, as far as PR goes, why did you get so good at it? How did that happen? What's your story?
Thank you. Well, it was one of those, I got there like many people do in a circular and round way, because I was actually on my way to law school and thought that was going to be my career until I got to law school. And for me, it just wasn't the place. And I started doing work in the music business in promotion and publicity during law school and loved that. And actually turned my career around to be the director of promotion and publicity at 4 independent record labels. And from there, the rest is history. I started really opening my own business in publicity, and then I wrote Guerilla Publicity, and now I speak all over the world on that and run media mastery intensives, and I'm really helping entrepreneurs get their name out there without having to spend a fortune. That's really been my focus with people.
One thing I love that you said, and it was like a teaser because we didn't get to talk about it yet. Why is it all publicity? Why does everyone need publicity?
Yeah, and that's a great question, because the truth is publicity is happening whether you want it to or not. So the reality is it happens from the minute you walk out your door into the Zoom room or out for coffee or on an airplane or in networking meetings. Your publicity is happening. So let's make it conscious, connected, and be authentic for you. And I think that's really clear and important. One thing I always, will wave my flag about is have a great message. And that's what's being resonant to who you are. So that's what I'm talking about, is that it's all publicity, Mark. So let's make it count and be the message and the messenger that you want to be, so that your publicity is drawing back clients and referrals, trust in the industry, credibility, visibility, all of the things publicity does for you, prospects. I mean, it's just amazing, its ROI, and the power of it is to be powerful with your own publicity and, be in the practice of it. I think that's really important.
Well, it sounds like step one, and I love the word you use, is to make it conscious. I have not heard that before. What do you mean by making publicity conscious?
I mean, be conscious about your message. In other words, who are you? Be clear about it. Have it be, integral to who you are. Listen, some people are outgoing and more extroverts. Some people are more introvert. It's okay. You can be who you are. Here's what I know in working with literally 100,000 entrepreneurs is when you're clear about your message and it becomes, yes, slightly a script, then what's great about this is it gives you confidence to stand up in it, even if you're not always sure what to say. Like I had an interior designer, and she used to say, I felt like a deer in headlights when anyone said to me, what do you do? And I think you've got to have an answer for that to be so clear. And she was so clear that the next networking meeting, after I gave her the message and we worked it out and she felt good about it, she closed a $2,500 client at a networking event. This is a woman who was afraid to answer the question, what do you do? And so what I know about that, the confidence that it gives you is then it helps you speak yourself more, and this is important, concisely and precisely. And people get attracted to that because they know you're confident in what you do.
What if someone is in that zone where like, God, I hate giving, I hate the term, but I'm going to use it. elevator pitch, whatever you want to call it, value proposition. What if someone watching or listening is thinking, I'm that man, I'm that woman, I'm a little bit fearful of it, if you want to use that word. How do you get over that?
So that's exactly what I was talking about. This interior designer had the same issue. And believe me, many a person that I've worked with has these issues. Sometimes it's fear. Sometimes it's, I don't really know what to say. Sometimes it's, oh gosh, it sounds like everybody else. Well, guess what? When it's authentic to you, and when we, I say, push the right button for the message that is who you are. What's wonderful about that is then it gives you the ability to say it anywhere, anytime, no matter what you feel. And I think that's important because, listen, we all have good days and bad days. And it's good to know what you're going to say no matter what, no matter how you're feeling, right? Because the truth is you got to run a business. And some days we just got to know what to say in the right order. And one thing I'm big on publicity is have systems in place that work. And so I have a 30-day, a 60-day, and 90-day publicity system, one of which is every 30 days, review your message. Is it you? Is it who you are? Because here's the thing you got to know, and I think this is important. Publicity is an evolutionary process. Yes, you meet it where you are right now. And then, like everything in life, your business will evolve. Your offerings might shift and change. Your publicity can shift and change as you do, as your offerings do. That's okay. That's why in my system, you look at your message every 30 days and you make sure, is this still me? Right? And I think that that's important.
Once you get the message down, there's so many places to go. We'll get into the money in a minute. But once you get the message down, even though you might shift it a little bit, what comes next? What's the first step after? Okay, I'm comfortable with my message. I've got it down. I work with Jill. I work with someone else. What do you do after you have the message? Because you can go in 10 different directions.
Well, and so my next step on a 60-day and 90-day systems is one of the things I love to do is use local publicity, because many people miss this opportunity of getting what I might call celebrity in your own backyard. And for me, celebrity is not like you don't have to be a famous actor. You have to be you. And the reality is you as an expert, if you're watching this, you probably are an expert. And experts are interviewed by media. And that's what I'm talking about. So I want you to be in media, featured as the experts that you are, connected to your message. And I think that that's a key, and we'll start getting you out there. So your local business journal, your local newspaper, your ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox News, radio, and TV networks, right? They need experts like you. There are morning shows looking to be filled. There are, did you know, over 10,000 radio shows every single day looking for about 4,000 guests. Plus, there's Apple and Spotify filled with podcasts that you can be on. And what I love about podcasts is they're actually fairly easy to get. And it's a great place for many of you to start because it elevates your message and starts getting people paying attention to you.
All those media outlets sound great. And I love that you said local. It's like I could get quoted in Forbes, but if I only do business in Chicago, so what? But as far as the actual, if the people start on their own, what?
I want to address that, Mark, because if you only do business in Chicago and you're quoted in Forbes, do you think your clients in Chicago are going to go, whoa, he must be good? Because Forbes is talking about him. I love getting national attention and publicity and then bringing it into your local market to the clients you serve locally, saying Forbes featured Mark Carter. I mean, how amazing is that? It gives you the credibility, the elevation. Earned media gives you the trust factor and the viability that puts you way in front of any of your competition. Let me give you a case in point. May I for a minute?
Absolutely.
Because this woman in Minnesota who was in my Media Mastery Intensive started integrating the systems I'm talking about. She's a consultant in Minnesota. She walks into an interview and he says, I Googled you and I see you've been featured in the Minneapolis Star-Tribune. Now, let me tell you, her being featured was one line in the Minneapolis Star-Tribune. But the reality is that credibility got her the consulting engagement, which was a $35,000 consulting engagement. That's a good day, right? And on top of that, it was all because of her publicity. One line in the Minneapolis Star-Tribune. That's how powerful it is, because he assumed that she must be good. He assumed that because the media is talking about her, that she's top in her field. And that's the power of publicity. It puts you way ahead of anyone else because they're talking about you.
So what does the getting a little bit into the weeds as far as reaching out to local outlets, and you can talk about Forbes too, but as far as everything you just said, what does the messaging look like? Because I'm guessing a lot of the bigger outlets get a ton of people saying, feature me, feature me. What does the outreach to them look like, whether it's verbiage or ways to go about it? Tell me about that.
So in Guerilla Publicity, that's my book I wrote, one of the things we talk about is the power of 7 follow-ups. So where most people lose the media game, Mark, is they send something out, usually a press release, which, basically talks about the story and get off the I stories and talk about how it affects the community, the world. What's the problem today? Focus in on that versus what do you do and why you're so great, okay? Because what the media cares about is how it impacts their readers, their viewers, and their listeners. And I'll tell you, when I interviewed Entrepreneur Magazine for Guerilla Publicity, my book, I interviewed the editor, and one of the things she said to share with everybody was, what she cares about is her readers. So the story has to impact her readers. And I thought that was really important to continue this message. So when you're reaching out, to me, I'd incorporate a variety of email, pick up the phone, yes, the phone, let them hear your voice. And on top of that, I'd reach out, perhaps on LinkedIn and other social media so that people see you, hear you, connect to you in multiple ways. And then guess what? They realize that you must be serious. It's not just, listen, most people, honestly, they're going to maybe follow up to the media 1, maybe 2 times. So imagine this, you getting the interviews because you're the one who's consistent and persistent. And I want you to remember those words. Be like a terrier, not a bulldog, and stay nipping at the media's heels, because they will take you seriously and they know you must be good because you're consistent and persistent and you're articulate, and they'll look you up, truthfully, and make sure that you're real and that you're who you say you are. But the truth is, when the media needs an expert, they need them fast. And I want you to be in the front of the line.
So once you get publicity, how do you avoid just having a blip on the radar where I got publicity and then boom, down cycle? Is it continuous? Is it just that's what it is? It's continuously reaching out to media outlets, or is there a way to build on it once you start to get it?
Well, I think, it's called publicizing your publicity. So one of the things that's really wonderful about publicity, I'm from Michigan, so I can talk about snow because, when you make a snowball, you start with a little bit and then you keep compacting it. It gets bigger and bigger, right? That's how publicity is. And so if you're into surfing, you're kind of like riding a wave, right? You're riding a wave. So once you start getting, by the way, I don't either surf or I don't live in snow, but I do know, I do know that publicity is like surfing. It is like building a snowball because it's about creating momentum. And so once you get it, you want to publicize your publicity. You want to leverage. And 2 ways to do that include sending it to other media. Recently, Mark Carter was featured in, right? And so you start like the buzz. It's about creating a buzz. That's what publicity does. It creates a buzz for you. I want you to send it to your clients. Mark Carter was featured in Forbes magazine. And then you also send it to prospects so that they're like looking at you higher in a bigger way. So you want to be sending it out. And then, of course, you want it to live on your website, in your media room, because guess where media looks? At your website, to make sure that you've been featured on other pieces. And the media is, shall I dare say, a bit incestuous, because when you're on one, all of a sudden it starts the others. That's the leveraging part of media and what makes it go up level. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, great.
So why I've heard price tags for PR agents. I've heard in the $5,000 to $10,000 a month range. Why don't you have to spend a fortune on publicity?
Yeah. And by the way, listen, when I had a PR agency 10 years ago, I was charging $5,000 a month. And then when I wrote Guerilla Publicity, my heart lies with entrepreneurs, and I wanted to find ways to serve entrepreneurs in simple, easy, affordable ways. So I created the Media Mastery Intensive. I actually bring media direct to my clients so that they can pitch them. Everything's on Zoom. I found ways to serve people all over the world. And that's been wonderful. And what I did was I took all my PR knowledge running a PR agency and picked the best of and put it into one place where I can serve people at a very affordable rate. That's my commitment. I will tell you, it's a roll of the dice with PR agencies. Listen, I have colleagues in the field and I believe in it, but I don't think everyone has to spend $5,000 to $10,000 a month. There are really good ways to get things done simply. And I'll just share with you that Philips Corporation, who I'm sure spends a lot more than that per month on publicity, actually brought me in to talk to their director of marketing and come up with guerrilla publicity strategies because they were tired of spending a fortune. So many a corporation are going the guerrilla publicity way. Just saying.
Well, now that we know it doesn't have to be crazy expensive, at what point should people start looking at, I might, even at a reasonable rate, at what point should people start thinking, you know what, I might need to hire a publicist as opposed to doing it on my own? What signs are there? What level are they at that they should hire someone?
First of all, I think everybody needs to take I keep it on my desk, right? Baby steps to publicity. I don't care if you're a one-person solopreneur, don't think you need it. The truth is, if you're in business, you need people to know your name. When you get to the part where you might have multiple employees, distinct projects, maybe your business is over $250,000 and up, and you're producing revenue that can pay a publicity agency that kind of rate, that's great. But listen, many of my clients are in that category and they decide they want in-house, because I work privately with some people, they want in-house some people to take on what is needed. And I just coach them exactly what a PR firm would do. And then I might bring in elements. So in today's world, you can bring in different elements and piece things together without spending $5,000 to $8,000 a month.
We've covered a lot of ground in a short period of time. When it comes to publicity, if someone's saying, I love a lot of what I heard, if you were to say, at least do this one thing, above all, at least do this, what would you tell people to do?
Oh boy, I would tell you, go to nationaldaycalendar.com. Fabulous resource. Pick, I'd say 2 holidays a year. That's twice a year you go out with a story that are relatable to what you do and get creative with it and get amazing with it. Like I have a dating coach, and for February 14th, Valentine's Day, we do a story about how to fall out of love, because the other side of her business is she helps parents get divorced and raise their children well. Okay, that's how to fall out of love, right? On Valentine's Day. And we've gotten great stories for her. So I would tell you, check nationaldaycalendar.com. It's a great resource and it'll help you get focused on a holiday that works for you.
Thank you so much, Jill. And if people want to find you online, what place or places should they go to?
Well, JillLublin.com is phenomenal, and I have a free gift for all of you. So check it out, JillLublin.com/gift. That gives you a fabulous action guide loaded with more publicity tips and a live interactive publicity masterclass with me, where I will answer all of your questions and give you great PR content to ensure your publicity success.
Thank you again, Jill. I appreciate the time. This has been awesome.
Thank you, Mark.
And scene.